Riding along for the trip was Harvey Blassingame, a retired CSX conductor who began his career with the L&N out of Etowah in March 1966. For over 30 years, until his retirement in 1999, Harvey worked on both the old and new lines, and in retirement, he spends much of his free time volunteering on the museum's old line excursions. At 88, his memory serves him remarkably well, and he recently sat down with us to relive some of his favorite memories of working on the old line.
All right, now when you hired on, did you stay in Etowah, or did you come here? Where was your first assignment?
I still lived at Chatsworth.
Okay.
And I worked a job in Atlanta for a while. Then I worked a job in a ball ground for a while. Then I had the opportunity to bid in a job on the passenger train, so I bid that in.
Oh, what train was it?
17 and 18.
And what was their names?
The Flamingo.
Flamingo, okay.
Yeah.
They named some of their trains after birds, didn't they?
They sure did.
And how long did you work on the passenger train?
Well, I don't remember exactly how long, but I worked long enough to get a uniform and all that to wear. And the Flamingo was cut off March 8th, 1967.
Wow.
No, 1968. March 8th, 1968.
Now, did you work on it until then, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once they cut off the Flamingo.
Well, no, I actually got off of it prior.
Oh, okay.
Prior to it being cut off, because they changed the flagging job to a baggage job, and I didn't want to do the baggage job.
I don't blame you. Now, what was your favorite part about working on the railroad? The pay?
Well, no, actually, the favorite part of working on the railroad was working on the passenger train.
Okay.
Being around the people.
Yeah.
And that's why I decided I didn't want to be an engineer, that I wanted to be a conductor where I could be with the people.
And then they took the passenger trains away.
Yeah.
Man,
but that's still I could be around customers, on the local.
Yeah.
On the local freights.
Now, you knew all the station agents, everybody in
Oh, yeah.
up and down, all the freight agents and all that.
Yeah.
When did you work on this line, on the old line?
I got to where I could hold the conductor on the night job, even, before I retired.
Okay. When did you start on this line?
I started, of course, I had to cub it.
Yeah.
You had to cub all these jobs, and then occasionally you'd catch it off the extra board.
Okay.
And then I got to where I could hold it at night, braking, and I worked it a while like that, until I got rolled. From Etowah to Atlanta down the new line's only 130 miles. And down this way it's 144 miles just to Marietta.
Wow.
And then you got the rest of that on into Atlanta. But it wound up, this local freight business over here on this old line was all it wound up doing.
Right.
Just handling local freight. And it was quite busy. Quite a bit of business.
So you had Copperhill, you had the copper ore, the sulfuric acid, any other products around? They running that out of there?
Yeah, the iron center.
Okay.
And when we get there to switch them iron center cars, they'd still be hot.
Wow.
That was okay in the wintertime.
Kept you warm.
Kept you warm, yeah.
All right. So it was pretty hopping place, pretty busy place there.
Man. Yeah, that place, like I said earlier, that depot was open 24 hours a day. Oh, we hauled that sulfuric acid out of Copperhill. There was a lot of it coming out. And we had so much business out of Etowah, we had to run 2 trains a day out of Etowah to Copperhill.
Wow.
And we carried a lot of that old line business down this way too. They'd send it out of Atlanta, send it up here to Etowah, and it'd go down this way on the night job.
So they'd send it up by the new line.
Yeah.
And then y'all brought it back down. When did all that start slowing down?
In the 90s, in the early 90s. But they quit mining ore in 1987. And what they was doing then is shipping in the sulfur to make the acid.
Okay.
They said 1 car of sulfur would make 3 cars of acid.
Wow. In your career, did you ever save a life?
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that.
We was approaching Ball Ground, Georgia one day in it was in May of '69, and we spotted this guy laying on the track. Of course, it was a place where we slowed down anyway and stopped. Of course, the engineer shot the brakes, put the brakes in emergency.
Right.
And I'd always thought that I'd try to save anybody if I could, something like that. Anyway, I got off, and I wasn't gaining on the train there to start with, but there was a grab iron on the side of the engine there, and I boosted myself with that, and I began to gain on the train then. And when I got to the guy, I just got a hold of his clothes and rolled away from the train myself.
Wow.
And pulled him off. And he never did wake up. We just assumed he was passed out drunk. And then when the other crew went up there to get the train to go on down to Atlanta, they said he was done gone, and he wasn't there.
He sure owed you a big thank you.